you want to just jump right into the Aaron Rodgers fiasco right now down in Green Bay?
Yeah, it's so weird because it's such an interesting day to do it, because listening back to some podcasts and some things, that would have made sense really if he would have done it before the draft. Because like the Niners, if you do it the day of the draft, teams are locked in on their draft. They're not worried about going and getting other players trade-wise. So maybe if you give the Niners a heads up, maybe the Packers can be like, yo, we really want you to take Kyle Pitts for us or trade us the pick or whatever for Rodgers. So I thought the timing of the leak was kind of weird if it was him, trying to stir up some drama. And I thought also, like, how many better football situations are there than the Green Bay Packers that he could realistically get to? Like, I think Green Bay is still better with him than the Broncos with him. Wouldn't you think so?
You know what? I do think so. I just think this is one of those moments where the player's just absolutely sick of the franchise.
And to your point, I think this could be fake. Who even knows anymore if anything's true? But a rumor came out saying he won't come back unless the GM is fired, so he could just be done with the front office.
Yeah, I can understand. I mean, like, first of all, though, they took a quarterback in the first round not that long ago. First round picks. That's kind of valuable in the NFL, and I can see how that kind of pissed Aaron Rodgers off and all the other moves they've made and stuff, And so, I mean, I get it. It seems like it's kind of like built up over these last few years, when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, and he finally just let out. I think maybe winning the MVP might have boosted that a little bit, because it's like, yeah, you're the MVP. You shouldn't have to be like dealing with a lot of stuff,
Funny enough, I think Brady started it by going and winning the Super Bowl. I think that's why the Russell Wilson stuff really came up. I'm sure he was pissed off.
That stuff definitely, yeah, that definitely did a lot,
I think everyone's going to be like, oh, I could just go leave and go to a good situation. Like, teams really value, I think we forget how, like, I think us, even with the Seahawks, you get spoiled, like, and same with the Packers probably, you forget, like, how good these guys are until they're gone. Like, it's almost like, don't take for granted for what you have, because you don't know what it's like to be the Jets and have a crappy quarterback for a while. I mean, I guess we did have bad quarterback situations.
I mean, yeah, but we've had, Russell Wilson since 2012,
right?
Here in Washington. And it's insane, honestly, because there are guys that are like, oh, let's just get a bunch of draft picks back for Russell Wilson, and it's just like, you can't, when it comes to players like Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, they're just all in a league of their own,
You'll never get the return that you should for a player like that. It's not like the NBA. Like, in the NFL, first-round picks are valued way too high. Not as they should. They're very important. They're very important things. It's not like the NBA where Robert Covington goes for 2 first-round picks. Jamal Adams, an All-Pro, one of the best safeties, goes for 2 first-round picks. So it's just the valuing system is different.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely. And you know what? Going back to Tom Brady, the thing is, though, I doubt many guys, like many elite quarterbacks in the NFL, really think Tom Brady is that like far, in many ways, like ahead of them,
Oh, especially oh, sorry, go ahead. I was just to say, like, his physical traits, like, are nowhere really near Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, but...
Exactly. I mean, looking at Russell Wilson, that guy, he has won a Super Bowl in the past, Aaron Rodgers, he has won a Super Bowl in the past. And so I don't blame him really for thinking like, we can do it now, we don't have to spend these next few years developing or whatever and growing.
Funny enough, they both won it in their second year, I want to say, as starters. Like, they both won championships early on in their careers, so no reason why they couldn't do it now.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, I just don't really think it can be done to the level that Brady did it, honestly, which is the championship. Because Brady, I mean, he attracted like so many players, that either got released or we thought were weird or whatever. I don't know. I just don't really think that can be done again.
No, I think so too. Like, thinking about it, we should have saw this. Like, Tampa Bay, I guess, really was a good quarterback away from winning because, Mike Evans, stud, Chris Godwin, stud, bringing Gronk back.
Before, with the last 2-3 years with Jameis Winston, they were like 9-7.
Yeah, not bad.
At worst, they were 8-8, and the quarterback, that's such a big part of that team. So I mean, that was a pretty darn good roster outside of Jameis Winston.
They really weren't far away because a lot of people were predicting him to be a wild card or have the chance to compete for the wild card. So,
well, 9-7 is literally one game away,
right? 10-6 usually gets you in, like you were saying. So, I don't know if there's a better situation like that. I did hear some interesting things because he recently got married to an actress that she wants him to move. It's not like she just now realized that Aaron Rodgers plays for the Packers. She's like, oh, we're married now, so you got to head out. So that's probably not the reason why. I thought that was funny, just hearing that.
I saw this other funny thing too, though. It was like Aaron Rodgers divorced his whole family. So why do Green Bay fans think he won't just leave the team?
I saw that too. That was interesting. And it's funny. It's funny too that he's using he was good on Jeopardy. I heard. I don't know. I don't watch Jeopardy, but
I saw a little bit of it though. He was pretty entertaining, honestly.
Yeah, I thought so.
I mean, NFL quarterbacks can't really act for the most part, but he was fun.
Yeah, like Brady in the T-Mobile commercial during the Super Bowl. That was funny. But, it's funny that he's using Jeopardy as leverage. And, he could get the job. I thought he was good, too, like you were saying from the clips. But it's funny that he's using something as leverage that he doesn't, it's not confirmed that he has the Jeopardy job. So it would be funny. He's like, oh, I'll just go do Jeopardy. And they're like, actually, we're not hiring you to do it full time.
Well, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Honestly, Aaron Rodgers, he's a big name. But honestly, he probably makes more than enough money on State Farm alone.
Yeah, no kidding. He's definitely made his money. So it's at this point, it's just happiness and where he wants to be, which I get. He's been there 16 years. It's definitely different than the Brett Favre situation because he threatened to retire 5 years in a row. I heard some of that. It's like, oh, they pissed Brett off. It's like, well, Brett also tried to retire 5 years in a row, so that's a bit different.
This is very different because I mean. Who's the quarterback they drafted in the first round?
Jordan Love.
I mean, I doubt this is a situation where the front office is Jordan Love is a franchise quarterback or whatever. Whether it comes, when you think of the Favre and Rodgers thing. But yeah, I honestly though, it's crazy though because I mean, both Rodgers and Favre both in year 16, either the Favre obviously left the Packers and Rodgers just might do the same.
It's funny enough, Brett just wanted to get to the Vikings so bad he had to go to the Jets first, do his second retirement just to get payback.
Just to get payback.
I saw this funny tweet. It was wow, if Aaron Rodgers leaves, Justin Fields might be the best quarterback in the NFC North already.
Oh my gosh,
I thought that was pretty funny. But no, I think he would be great at Jeopardy. I think he would be a better name than all the other people. They could bring in a new group of new demographic. I might watch a bit more Jeopardy if it involves Aaron Rodgers because he's actually very funny and smart. He'd be a great podcaster too. He has many interests beyond football, so it wouldn't even surprise me if he stepped down.
Also, I mean, if he were to make appearances on Fox Sports or whatever, though, that would be huge. Tony Romo, if people praise Tony Romo, they would love Aaron Rodgers, on those shows.
Yeah, I would agree 100%. Gronk was pretty good too when he was in that retirement.
Oh my god, I love Gronk's laugh, man.
Yeah, the famous clip of they told me I was going to get traded to the Lions, so then I said I'm retired with his laugh. But yeah, no.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Definitely be interesting. I think at some point either he's gonna leave the Packers. I don't know about if it's this year, just because they seem pretty dug in on not trading him, which I get, and I think they might even be like, "Hey, dude, where are you really gonna go? We don't have a spot for you." I just think that he will end up coming back next year.
Well, honestly, I mean, Le'Veon Bell, he forced his way out of Pittsburgh, And Aaron Rodgers has a lot more money than Le'Veon Bell. And so, honestly, if he really just waited, in the front office, it's they got this guy, who's taking up quite a bit of the cap, and he's not even playing. I assume after a while, the Packers would be like, okay, let's do something about it. But,
right. You brought up a good point with Le'Veon Bell, because Aaron Rodgers only has one more guaranteed year, too. So
yeah, one more guaranteed year. Because he's a player option, right?
I believe so, yeah. It would be a player option, I would assume. So he definitely could get his way out. I just don't know how it's going to play out unless, San Fran, unless the Packers are in love with Trey Lance, which would seem weird, then that they took Jordan Love. So I just don't know what the trade is, honestly.
Yeah. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no big deal.
Girlfriend. So, yeah, I don't know, honestly, because first of all, we know it's not going to be anything close to Aaron Rodgers' worth. We know that. But it can't be anything too little either, so it's like, but honestly, though, if you gave up 5 first-round picks, that would be okay,
I guess the only team that really makes sense to me football-wise is the Broncos, but I'm still, they're a good young team, like Jerry Jeudy, Tim Patrick, Cortland Sutton, and Noah Fant, another tight end. Like, they're pretty good, but that offensive line isn't the greatest compared to what Rodgers is used to. But they're another team, like the Buccaneers, it could be, people always say, if they had a quarterback, maybe they could go win a Super Bowl again, because that defense is still very good. They did get Kendall Fuller,
AJ Boy is still really good.
Right, and they just drafted Surtain, which would probably be in the deal for the Packers. Even the Packers, if it's not the worst situation for Love, it's definitely it's gotta suck for him. This is how his career starts, everyone kind of hating him and being like, yo, what? It's gotta be tough for him, but they're still a good team.
His fault,
Yeah, I mean, they're not as good without Rodgers. They probably don't make the playoffs, but there's definitely some talent. So, you're gonna know if Jordan Love is good within the first couple of years, because it still is a talented roster.
Yeah, and you know what? Let's say he were to go to the Broncos or whatever. The Broncos, I mean, if they get Aaron Rodgers, I don't think they really keep the line they have right now. I think for having Rodgers though would attract a few players. And most of all, though, I think having him though would make the front office push for some really good offensive linemen.
And they're not terrible on the offensive line. It's just probably about average or just above average. But I'm sure with Rodgers, that's going to attract some people. Denver's a nice city and whatnot. So I think if he does get traded, it would have to be to Denver.
Yeah, honestly, though, I know, because apparently the Niners called. I could just call them the Niners. The 49ers called. And the 49ers called, and apparently talks ended, within seconds or whatever. But honestly, that's probably the team I think he might end up in, just because, they got some good young talent, and I'm sure they won't care about giving up draft picks for Aaron Rodgers.
I would like to see him go to the 49ers just because, you always hear about on draft day, oh, Aaron Rodgers could have gone to the Niners, fell down to 25th pick and all that. He is from the Bay Area. I would just be surprised just saying because, they took Trey Lance and, they have no picks for some time because they had to give up a good amount of first-round picks to get up there.
Well, so. I said that because, unlike the NBA, you can trade
second rounders too,
consecutive years, right?
Yeah.
There's no limit on that. You can just,
I believe so. There's no limit.
Okay.
Well, second rounders and third rounders are still considered very high. Second round pick in the NBA is not considered that high.
Yeah, but in the NFL, second and third rounders are still pretty, still pretty good.
Yeah, so I guess that they could make a move. So I guess it'll just be interesting. Carolina's been thrown out there. They're not a bad team. It's still pretty young. So we'll see. Quarterbacks can play a lot longer just because, they don't take the hits that they used to. You basically can't even touch the quarterback anymore unless they're outside the pocket. But, yeah.
Also just, medicine, and rehab. I mean, honestly, Tom Brady, that guy is doing really, really good right now, Aaron Rodgers, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if he's so good at, 40, 41, 42.
Yeah, no kidding. He still looks really good. A down year for Rodgers, like he said in an interview, is still a really, really good year for most players. So I definitely think he could play for a lot longer.
Yeah, because I feel like we, as fans, sometimes forget these guys really are in a league of their own, to a point where a down year for them is pretty good for someone else, or average for someone else,
Right, like Westbrook, he's having a down year this year, but if you look at his stats and you give that to most players, it'd be like, oh my God, this guy should win the MVP.
Oh yeah, and it's just we gotta, context matters a lot, but But yeah, honestly, we need to acknowledge that not everyone's a superstar.